back, everyone. We are live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. It's also Valentine's Day, and I happened to call my next guest that's coming on right now, and we're going to talk about a very important subject, especially on Valentine's Day. I have with me Dr. Daniel, and he is the owner of Recenter Medical and Centergenics Phoenix. I want you first off to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what we're going to talk about today.
Well, I trained in practice as an internist for 35 years, and then I started thinking, well, there has to be another way to help people. I was helping people on the back end instead of the front end. So that's when I got interested.
And he means that seriously.
Seriously.
Yeah. Okay, so what is it that we're going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about erectile dysfunction.
A very important subject as it's Valentine's Day. So let's talk a little bit about this. For that, what is it? Let's talk a little bit about what it is if you don't know, but what is it?
Well, it's the inability to perform sexually. It can take many forms, and it takes different forms in men and women. But almost all of us go through it. It's not just a process of aging. It can be related to depression, poor marital or partnership relationships. So the key is it affects your life, not only just in your closeness to someone else, but it's been shown to have a lot of health negative not benefits, but negative connotations to it.
I want to ask you, you said both men and women. Do you
Yes.
help both men and women?
We do.
Okay, so this is for both men and women, because when we say erectile dysfunction, we think only of men,
True.
right? Women have other issues that happen.
They do. Generally, the way to think about it is men don't like to talk about it because for them it's a performance
It's
issue.
embarrassing for them.
If you're a male and you can't function, it's pretty obvious. You can't function. You can't get an erection. If you're a woman, it more likely takes place as loss of interest, but either way, it affects a relationship.
And they can fake it.
That's true. That's a good point.
And I was just bringing that up because of the commercial that it was on the Super Bowl with the one that I'm talking about. So, and everybody else does too. Now, I want to talk about this because you can help people. What we're going to do is we're going to open up the lines to the audience, and you did want to do for everyone to get entered into win. 10 people are going to win this. It's a DEXA scan. Tell everybody a little bit about what that is.
It's a full body scan that looks at body composition, also bone density. So from that, we can calculate your risk for heart disease. We can look at your bone density to see if you have osteoporosis, and we can calculate your percentage of body fat, which tells us if you're at risk for heart disease and diabetes.
So we're going to open up the lines of the audience for everyone to be able to call. 10 people are going to win. It's a DEXA scan, and our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. You can check him out he has 2 websites. They're both connected to one another, so it doesn't matter which one that you go to. It's recentermedical.com or Centergenics.com/Phoenix. They do free consultations. Their number direct, it's 480-454-2371. We've got our lines open here. At least 10 people are going to win right off the bat for a DEXA scan, and there's a lot that you can learn from that. Very important to do them. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, obviously we know what the causes are with all this. It could be a lot of different things. But what people want to know is, how are you going to help me, Doc? How are you going to help me?
Well, there are 2 ways. We're going to, if you have sexual function problems, it's an indicator of your overall health. It just doesn't occur by itself. So you have a health issue, medical issue. The second part can be a relational issue. So especially men don't like to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they can't fake it until they make it.
Right.
So if you don't have that relationship with your significant other, it can be a red flag that there may be deeper problems in terms of your health.
Right.
So for example, heart disease, diabetes are some of the first early indicators that result in this issue. So even though it can cause, it shows itself as a manifestation, but there's more to it than that.
Right, it doesn't just happen on its own, it started from somewhere.
That's true.
Right? And when you have a consultation with someone, do you usually you like the couples to come in together, or how do you like that to be?
Well, very rarely will they come in together.
Really?
Yeah, usually the males will come in first. And then if the males are functioning, but it's the female issue, it's very difficult to get the female to come in. Now, and it's also an age-related issue. Most women are capable of performing sexually until they get through menopause.
And then things start drying up.
That's true. Guys will have, even at a young age, will have 1 or 2 episodes of poor malfunction sexually.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as they get older, and especially in a marriage, their relationship changes whether or not they can perform or not. And that's why a lot of relationships split and why they use someone else to perform their needs.
So what medical problems are mostly related to this?
Well, number one is heart disease. So because in men, if you're built to get an erection, you have to have blood flow. So it's an early indicator that you may have vascular disease, have a stroke, heart attack at some point. In women, it's more emotional. So you can kind of think of it in men, it's more below the waist. In women, it's more above the waist. So their interest in sexual function can be related to poor quality of sleep and relationships.
I wonder how many people who, because you really can go on television here and there. It's all over that they have these medications, let's say, or some other things that they have to offer, but they're not checking their health. They're just giving that. And that's not necessarily a good idea, I don't think.
No, it's not. It's like if you have a flat tire and your car has an engine that's getting ready to blow up on you, and you just say, well, I'll just change my flat tire and everybody will be okay. Mm-hmm. It'll get you a little further down the road, but ultimately you're going to have a wreck. Mm-hmm. So any sexual problems needs to be approached with a thorough exam, blood work, detailed history, not just taking over-the-counter medication to trigger an erection.
So we've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win. 10 people are going to win this. It's a DEXA scan. And tell them again what you can do with that and what you find.
Well, from that we calculate your percentage of body fat, where the body fat's located. We can also look at your muscle mass and your bone density. Mm-hmm. So it's a good screening test to tell us how quickly your body's aging. So,
does anybody really want to know that?
Well, can become a health issue. Let's say you're a woman and you weigh 110 pounds and you look great. And then we do a body scan and find out that you have severe osteoporosis. Well, your chance is significant that you'll have a hip fracture the next time you fall. If you have a hip fracture, you're going to end up in the hospital or you're going to end up in a nursing home.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win, and 10 people are going to get this DEXA scan. And give yourself that's a gift of love, for your own self or someone that you know.
It is.
Again, you can check him out on his website. It's recentermedical.com, or you can go to Cenegenics.com/Phoenix. You can go to either one. They're connected with one another. They do free consultations. Their number direct, it's 480-454-2371. And we've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win. 10 people are going to win this DEXA scan. And it's a great way to start to find out where are you at, especially for your aging. That part of the body it can tell you how you're aging, correct?
Correct.
Right. Now, when somebody comes to you and you find out these things, then can I ask you what kind of things you have that you offer for people that have, especially the men that have erectile dysfunction?
Well, there's certain levels we start with. First thing we want to know is there any underlying medical problems. So we may do a comprehensive blood work, physical exam, then depending on what that shows us, we outline a treatment program. So it just doesn't start with medication like Cialis
Right.
or Viagra. You can use that, but there needs to be more evaluation than just writing a prescription for that.
I think it's
Then you can cover
very
it up.
important, it really is. It's scary to think about how many times people probably just call in or order stuff online, you know, why shouldn't they do that?
Well, I think two reasons. It may be, for guys, it's an embarrassment that I can't perform. For women, it's like, okay, I'll put up with this. He's not gonna know if I'm happy or unhappy, but the end result is it affects your relationship. And that's what we all want, is a good relationship. And it doesn't cut off at just any age. You wanna maintain a relationship until you die.
And is it something that happens, obviously we know both men and women, but younger people too?
Younger people too.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll tell you something, it's all about your health. It starts off, and I think that's what you're trying to say.
That's right, it's a
is
red
that
flag.
It is a huge red flag with what might be going on with something that you need to find out first. And it makes sense, please, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking about how many people probably order stuff online or off what they see on television. Maybe it's better to have a consultation with the doctor. Doctor, you've been a doctor, how long here you've been practicing?
Oh gosh, I went into active practice in 1977.
So he knows what he's talking about here. We've got our lines open in here to everyone to get entered into win. 10 people are going to win a DEXA scan at 602-277-5369.